Hi, Rodney.
Hey.
Are we going to get to see a day one versus Rodney Mullen again?
Thank you. Right on. Working on that. Thank you. Oh my gosh, day one is superhuman. Yeah.
Amazing. Let's go to that question in the middle there.
How did you figure it out, that the flick, that the board would flick?
Yeah.
When you did an ollie, how did you get to an ollie then to a kickflip?
Look at you, man. What a great question. Thank you. It is. That's so on point. So, yeah, kickflips. So ollie, the nature of an ollie, right? The idea is seesaw. And you get it up, snap it. Early ollies, you're snapping, you're super big. If you've learned ollie, you know this. You snap as hard as you can, the board goes right up between your legs, and you're coming down on it. So I was doing that, exactly that happened, and I spazzed out. I'm like, yeah, I kicked it away. And it's as though the board mocked me. It flipped and landed in front of me, laughing. And so I'm sitting there just going, oh my gosh, I could do that. It was an accident. Within a couple hours, yeah, I had the first ones. But things like that happen, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your question. Let's get a microphone just up to there on the stairs.
Hi, Rodney. Hello.
Oh, right on.
So it's interesting to hear you're always very humble about inventing these tricks. But how does it feel all of these years later to see how people have taken them and what they've put them to?
Thank you. Thank you. You know, all right, here we are, the degree of intimacy, yeah, is the whole hip thing, right? At first, is this relevant? Yeah, it's relevant for the story. When you get new hips, you know what they do? They saw off the top of your femur. Huh? You ever knocked out your teeth? So there's two parts. There's screws that go up top. And my whole deal when I started skating again, Doc was like, please don't make me go back in there, you know? And my whole thought, because having knocked out teeth, I'm like, yeah, that's the problem. So I skated accordingly for a month or so, and that's when dummy here, that's not the problem. The problem is that they screw into the hole in your femur. They screw the top in, so if you hit hard, it'll split your femurs. Crazy, huh? So you should see me, right? You're going across the street in New York City, right? Cars are coming in. I'm like, funny. So I'm skating this one spot in Brooklyn, and all these dudes, you could tell, legit skaters, doing nose slides and eye flips. And I see them at a distance, and they clock me, and I'm feeling kind of sheepish, because I suck. I do. I can't throw my feet down. I look like, And with all my heart, I feel a little shame, because they expect you to be all of that. I can't tell you how many people have oh, I thought you'd be taller. It's true. And I skate. They're super cool. I skate another half hour or so. I roll on down because they're by the opening. It's like tennis court density. And I cruise by, and they come by gently again, cool. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm basically giving a legitimate enough excuse. I'm I'm a little hesitant to put my feet down, new hips here. They looked at me as though I don't know what you're smoking. Thank you for what you've given. And with all my heart, I don't see it. Just to have the respect of the community, So that's what it feels like. Yeah.
Amazing. We'll go up to that one and say if we could get the microphone down here to the front for me.
Hi, Rodney. I find it super interesting that you would...
Oh, thank you.
I find it really interesting that you would kind of combine AI with skateboarding. And I was just wondering, what sort of AI models do you think could be used for skateboarding? Because all of this really reminded me of reinforcement learning.
Yes.
And I was thinking that you could maybe use a deep Q network for different types of skateboarding moves. I'm not really into skateboarding, but like I think the idea of combining AI and skateboarding is just so original, and
Yes.
I found that super fascinating.
Okay, first and foremost, what a pleasure. And maybe we could trade digits afterwards?
Sure.
Yeah, because very frankly, I just love the idea of learning. And I just play and code in Linux, and so you know, sitting right in front of you, right, is one of Pioneer, like a world-renowned badass at AI. He is. I am afraid that I would like to learn from you. I'm just a hobbyist. I just love to read these papers for fun, so I can track you, I'm with you, but as to giving substance to you, to answer you in a meaningful way, I am humbled to say I cannot. But let's trade, yeah?
Amazing. We're going to take the microphone over to the live stream, actually, who's over there on the side, and we're going to take this question from down at the front.
You kind of teed up my question.
Yeah.
So I've been skating since 1976.
Wow.
And yeah, quite old.
Awesome. Yeah. You got a year on me.
But I've also been doing artificial intelligence since 1989.
Amazing.
So these things, and everything that I see wrong with artificial intelligence is to do with the lack of keying into embodied cognition. So I'm loving what I'm seeing you doing, and I think it's so important. And I'd like to connect on that. But
Please,
I think
yeah.
I just want to say thank you, because I think it's so important, and I think skateboarding is an ideal way to connect the two. Because what you said about culture, the whole thing about 4E cognition and all the rest, it connects to culture and language and communities of practice, and it's so important. Everything that people say about AI that's just horrible and awful and nasty is because they're not getting this 4E cognition stuff. So I love what you're doing here.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
We'll trade. Yeah. Thank
We're going to
you. Get a picture of you, put you on that slide. Yeah.
We're going to take a question from the live stream now, and then we'll head to you behind.
Hi, Ronnie. So everyone online has loved your talk,
thank you.
as well as a godfather of skateboarding. They're also calling you the Socrates of skateboarding. But we have a question from Luke here, who says, what is your take on Andy Anderson's theory map and how people are saying it's an attempt to create notation for skateboarding? I bring it up because... Oh, it's moved. Where is it gone? I bring it up because you brought up open source and skateboarding and how we push development together.
Beautiful. Andy is awesome. We text back and forth, especially after his latest part. Andy Anderson, if you haven't seen his latest. Yeah. And there's such a genuine spirit, everything he does. He is that guy. He is on his own wavelength. What a contribution. As far as his map, we've traded texts on it, but I have not jumped in as much. We're going to hang out when I get home. So, yeah, thank you.
Amazing. If you could pass the microphone actually directly behind you. I think there was one. There we go. Yeah. Fantastic. Go for it.
What's the trick that you made that you're most proud of?
Yeah,
Great question.
Thank you. That is a hard question. Most proud of.
Yeah.
All right. I will, if I say the trick itself, which sounds silly and trite, yeah? The anecdote, the story will give it meaning, right? Police, cats and dogs, yeah? Huh? So I'm rolling around 2 in the morning, I'm a bat, and new hips, and I'm just snapping stuff. Where I skate, I don't want to disturb because it's 2 in the morning. And so if you've been in LA, freeways demarcate sometimes sketchy areas. On this side, woof, on this side, you're all right. And in this area, I'm on a little bit of the oof side. And so cops roll around, and those cops see a lot. They don't mess around. And so when cops roll up to you in these SUVs at night, fast, he flies in, lights off. That's always bad news. And he stops, there's 2 cops inside, and they go, do a kickflip. I swear to you, man, I am like, whoa, my heart is racing. And it just started laughing of like, okay, you know, man, that is cool. I think I feel proud now, you know? It's a kickflip, yeah.
Great question. Okay, could we get one of the microphones up all the way up to the balcony whilst the microphone makes its way back there? I was just going to ask Rodney if you could maybe talk a little bit about the effect that you think things like overthinking have on how you know someone learning a new trick might affect their kind of mind-body connection.
That is for sure. Oh my gosh, Jeremy Ray. Have you seen the water tower ollies? Like. Dudes like that is other level. I am there to learn. He's different himself. All these, like Jamie, or whenever they do something sketchy, his eyes just create this big owls when he does something sketchy. Because, yeah, he's scared. Everybody's scared, except for, weirdly, Jeremy Ray. I think he's one of those few people, you know? And if there's anything you learn from them, because I'm like, dude, what are you thinking? And the whole idea is, whatever you do, don't think about it too much. Because your thoughts will get in the way and throw off your rhythms. That embodied cognition stuff, it is true. Whatever, again, synaptic idiom, whatever it is, flows so, it's compiled so densely that it flows so readily that thought itself is much slower and it intrudes on it. You just give it nudges. Does that make sense? So, yeah, just a light touch. Thinking about tricks too much throws off the rhythm. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let's go to this one in the middle here somewhere. There we go, right in the middle there. Thank you.
Awesome.
So, first of all, hi, Rodney. First, I want to say about what you said about the do a kickflip. My dad here has been a skater all his life, and every time we go out, every time we see a skater, he says, do a kickflip. Every time. And I won't lie to you, before today, I did not know who Rodney Mullen was, but I'm so glad I do, because you've influenced my dad and therefore me so much. But what I wanted to ask was, for all of us out here and from you, what books would you recommend everyone here reading? If there's been a book that has influenced you, what would you say that would be?
Oh. Huh? Oh, say again? Oh. Whenever people tell me they read my book, I'm like, I'm reaching for my pockets like, oh, I owe you money for wasting your time, you know? It's like, oh, thank you, brother, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, there are so many gems. Gosh, there's so many. There's so many. And by saying one, you take away weight to the other, right? For so long, I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to be a mathematician. This is what I wanted to do. And I remember in college, they flagged my records because they're like, you need to take more literature. And so I took a philosophy course. And I will tell you, Will Durant's Story of Philosophy, I'm not saying it changed my life, but it opened my eyes. Because for the first time I read philosophy and I had a sense of, oh, wow, this is... But that book, as well as Paul Johnson's Intellectuals, very similar. But very frankly, I'll just say, it's just the truth. Like, since I was a little kid, every day I read a chapter of the Bible. The Bible is what changed my life. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. We are going to head all the way up to the very top of the room. There we go.
First of all, man, thanks for everything you've done for skating, man. It's an honor. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a little bit of a lighter question.
Yeah, please.
There was a rumor going around that you gave advice to Antwuan Dixon.
Oh.
So I don't know if you want to answer the question, but I'm so curious to hear what. I mean, I'm assuming it's probably something to do with, you know, trusting yourself and pushing the boundaries.
I'll keep that with me, between me and Ant. It's, you know, that is a little bit of a bond, but at the same time, yeah. How do I answer that? I'll leave it unsaid just out of sheer respect, you know?
Yeah, respect, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, we might have time for just one or two more. Are there any more up at the top?
In skateboarding, do you think it's more of a physical or a mental battle?
Profound
Great
question. It really is. That I am not, the fact that you would even weigh it, right, one or the other, you're on the right wavelength completely. And there's an emotional into it too, right? When you're filming, you film tricks, like you get pushed to that level where you're losing your mind. Seriously. That switch grip, switch crook, switch heel flip shove, I remember that. I landed and I was rolling a few feet before I even knew I was on my board because you're so punch drunk. You're so lost in your thoughts and the way you entangle with your body, the thought and the mind. And if anything, I would say, because as skaters, we actually have something special, really. That the way we connect with our body through our thoughts, it pries open. Like I told you, even having the infrastructure change, like all that stuff, what it gives you, I just know that the idea that you can dissolve into your thoughts so deeply, even further, by skating, they need each other in an equal way, like that slinky. Is that a fair enough answer?
Yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, Rodney.
We're going to come over here for, this one in the blue hat.
Hello, it's just insane to talk to you, honestly.
Oh,
But, who would you say is the best skater, like, right now?
Oh, wow.
Anyone.
Man, there's so many. There are so many. And it's hard, man. Yeah, I think that is the beauty because you can't, yeah? But very, like, as a pure, like, skating animal.
It's so
I have
interesting
to
you were
say-
talking about community so much, and it feels strange, doesn't it, sometimes to single one person out from
It
that.
absolutely does. I will tell you, I am in awe always of the stuff you can't do. You know, you can't even relate to, like the Danny stuff. I do trip out, you know, watching Nigel, like how you have it locked, right? Or Yuto, like dudes like that don't feel fear. They're so like Yuto, right? Yeah. Like that kind of, and it just looks so beautiful, you know? But the flip side's like Andy, what he's doing, his contribution. And if you know the dude, you're like, there's such purity there, you know? Like there's so many skaters like that I can't say, but thank you, you know? Yeah.
Tough question, but great question. We got anything? I think we've got one more question on the live stream, maybe, if we can just grab a microphone across to there.
Oh, so many questions, but I'll ask one from Mikey. So has the science and philosophy of skateboarding been something you've always been driven you to understand, or is this a passion you developed later in your career?
Really good questions. Yeah. I would think what drove me to science to begin with is you always want to know the undergirding of what are the mechanisms of how it works, yeah? That part of me since I was a kid, again, like life-changing to me, an electromagnet. I will never forget that moment, little kid. That's me. I'm just like a bigger version of that. I think it comes later on that you experience turning pro at a young age, 13, 14, whatever. Again, back then it was like hacky sack. There wasn't that much going on. But it is to say that so much is happening to you, you don't sometimes go interior as much to be as reflective. That does come with age. And maybe that is your answer, and that's the most honest answer. But at the same time, sometimes you meet people ripe in age, and it's just not them to be that way, I don't know if that's an affliction or a gift. Yeah.
Fantastic. I think we're going to take one more final question. So let's go just here down towards the front. Thank you.
Hi, I wasn't going to ask a question, but I really appreciate how, because I'm an AI researcher right now at a startup, but I started off studying design, so I didn't have anything to do with AI. Just happened to just stumble into my current job. And I think coming from a non-AI background, I really appreciate the importance of putting in a different perspective and turn into AI, because a lot of the time I have to work with engineers who just want to solve a problem, but I want to design the solution to make things work. And I was just curious to how you ended up in the AI world in the first place.
Oh, thank you. It's very humbling, but very, very honestly, you are so far beyond me. I just play, I just fell in love with Linux because, again, talk about community. It's a resonant community. I felt at home with it. That's why I first fell in love with kind of coding and the vibe of it. And then, of course, AI, because, come on, right? Look at how it's changing the world and these brilliant minds. There are more than one here tonight. Now, you, right? And let me make sure I have a fine point. The essence of your question, the final point of your question was what? What
brought you to...
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yes, that's right. And it's so unlike.
I have to learn a lot.
That's right. That's right. Honestly, it's really in that answer. That is kind of your answer. It's just being amazed that look at the brilliant minds applied to it. Look at how fast it's changing everything. And after doing some coding, and you look, what a radically different way of doing this. And you just fall in love because of that, right? That shine. And I will also tell you, like, the power of community and also this infusion of a little science as part art and vice versa. I can imagine your contributions will be significant. Just keep going, Awesome.
Fantastic.
Oh, I just know, like, you were there the whole time, and
go on then. I'll be nice. Go on.
Hi, Rodney. You've been an amazing inspiration, just the way you think and the way you are for, I think, anyone creative. And I feel like as creative people, the biggest roadblock is ourselves and not fully believing in what we do. And I'm a pianist, and I feel like for the music I write, the hardest thing is actually believing that it matters and that, like, what I'm making, is important. I'm just wondering how do you persuade yourself? How do you tell yourself, this matters? Like, what I'm doing, I'm important to this. What's the way? How do you think about that? How do you tell yourself?
First, what's your name?
Rory.
What's your name?
Rory. Rory.
Pleasure to meet you, Rory. Yeah. It's something I'm working on myself. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. I think maybe there's a problem if you're not working on it, to some extent. But at the same time, I sense in you that that could be a fight that could be a little heavy on you. And if there's anything I know, when I was younger, I really struggled with that. Of, does this matter? No, it doesn't. And so if there is anything I can tell, like if I were to talk to the younger, it's presumptuous of me to say I should talk to you that way.
Please do.
Yeah. Yeah. But, like, again, like the little me, or just shake, like the hold of, like, Do you realize the significance, the rippling significance of what you do, even in the small ways, as you're learning, the people next to you, even the person next to you that sees the way you push what you do? Sometimes you can affect them and change their life in ways that ripples into meaning you'll never know. So yes, it may be through greatness that you achieve in what you do, but it's also, again, clearly such a good, devoted, honest soul. It will be the people looking at you through what you do that go, this dude matters. He is special, you know? So, Rory. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I think that is